Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. This is just another podcast with Mick, and the rain is it's coming down really hard right now. So if the mic is picking it up, I'm sorry. That's that weird rumbling sound that's going on. But yeah, you guys already know on this podcast we have a few drinks. So I've already poured mine. So cheers. Again, feel free to have a drink with me. So, yeah. So, we're going to be talking about the quarantine. Life in quarantine, all of that good stuff. Okay. But we've been in quarantine for 7 months already. And that's a really, really long time. And it's insane to think about, honestly, because it's still ongoing, technically speaking. But, yeah, to think when this thing started, it was March. And we were 3 months into 2020, and now it's October, and we only have 3 months left in 2020. Let that sink in. It's just like, what? Like, where did all the time go? Why is time moving so quickly? But yeah, I want to talk about a few of the things that I missed out on during this pandemic, this quarantine. And I just want to start off by saying that I am not complaining in any sort of way. I'm just saying that I wish that I had been a part of these events. Okay, I'm pretty sure that a lot of other people have sacrificed something as well, not being able to be there, maybe for even more important things. So yeah, just saying. So first thing is that my sister got engaged. Yeah, I mean, are we at that age where people are getting engaged? Anyway, she got engaged around June. Yeah, I think it was June. And I'm so happy for her and her fiance, Hans. I love them both to death. I spent Christmas with them last year, and I loved every freaking second of it. I'm just upset that I wasn't able to be there because I was supposed to be there. Hans talked to me in December, and he was like, I'm going to propose in June. Do you want to be a part of it? I'm like, of course I want to be a part of it. And yeah, I was so looking forward to that because I love Singapore. I fell in love with Singapore. So any chance to go there and to be a part of such a big moment in my sister's life, I mean, like, of course I want to be there. And I wanted to capture it on video so they would have something to look back on one day. But yeah, it still happened. We still got engaged regardless of my not being there. How rude, right? I mean, I'm just kidding. But yeah, very, very happy for the both of them. Hopefully I can see them real soon so we can have like a mini celebration. And she asked me to be her maid of honor, but in the most underwhelming way possible. So like we were just video chatting as we do every now and then, maybe once a week, and like she was just like, "Ay, Mick, ikaw yung maid of honor ko ah." So something like that, and I was just like, wait, can you ask me properly, please? Can you just do it? Come on, ask me properly, please. And then she was just like, okay, Mick, will you be my maid of honor? And I was just like, yes, 1,000 times. Yes, I will be your maid of honor. Don't you dare take this away from me. This is the only thing I have going for me right now. It's just like, I was ecstatic. Although I was a little anxious that she wouldn't ask me because, my sister and I were very close. But she has a lot of friends. So, yeah. But I'm maid of honor. Yeah. But, again, we don't know when the wedding is going to be because the pandemic is still ongoing and having a large gathering still is not allowed. So yeah, anyway, congrats Hans and Irish if you're watching this. I love you both. And another thing that I missed out on is one of my dearest friends gave birth last April. A day after my birthday, actually, but I'm gonna get to that in a bit. So yeah, she gave birth, and because of the pandemic, of course, I wasn't allowed to go to the hospital and support her, which is something I really, really wanted to do because, again, this is another big life event. And yeah, we even talked about that when she gave birth, I would be there and I would hand her this bottle of pink Moscato because she hasn't had a drink in a really long time, and I was just gonna hand it to her. Of course, she wasn't gonna drink it, okay, but yeah, just the act of doing that, I really wanted to live up to that. So I'm also upset that I haven't seen my nephew yet because it's been 6 months. He's already like this huge baby. I wasn't able to see him as like this little tiny baby that didn't do anything, and that makes me really sad because we're never gonna get that back. But yeah, I hope to be able to see both of them very soon. So yeah, another thing is my birthday. Okay, so I was born on April 7th, and before the calendar shift, that always fell under summer vacation. And it's every kid's dream, every kid that celebrated their birthday in summer vacations, to have a birthday celebration at school. And if you know somebody like that and they say that it isn't their dream, they're lying. I'm not joking. They're lying. But yeah, it was supposed to happen for me this year, and it didn't. I remember frantically looking at the calendar back in Feb. I was like, hold up. Is my birthday gonna fall under Holy Week? No. You can't take this away from me. This is my dream. And then when I looked at it, I was just like, sakto. Holy Week starts 8 onwards. So I'm gonna be able to celebrate my birthday in school, but psych. Didn't happen, but I have next year and maybe the year after that. So another thing that I missed out on, of course, a lot of people can relate to this, RIP to all the travel trips that were not taken this year, 2020. I actually had a lot of trips lined up for this year. I planned on going to Cebu in January at first. I planned on going to China. It's a little crazy that I was actually supposed to go to China, Shanghai, back in Feb. Yeah, I was really looking forward to that trip. I was supposed to go back to the States in the summer to meet up with my mom and my grandparents. I was supposed to go to Singapore around June because my sister was going to get engaged, and she is now. So yeah, a lot of trips, and like my high school friends and I were even talking about this trip to Taipei around July. So yeah, it's October, none of that happened. I've been in this room for 7 months, so and yeah, let's move on to the next topic. Life before quarantine. Okay, so like when I look back on 2019 through my 2020 goggles, 2019 was a really good year because I was able to hang out with my mom and my grandparents, and I was able to see my sister. School-wise, it was but yeah, the thing about me in 2019 is that I don't look forward to the future. I have a hard time envisioning it just because of how uncertain and stressful it is. Let me give you a brief background on my life right now. So I migrated to the States in 2018. Okay, so that means I have to go back there, right? So I'm pretty adamant on graduating here and finishing my degree and all of that stuff. But the thing is, even when I get there, I still have to study, and I don't want to think about that because there's a lot of money involved in that, so I don't want to think about it. And also, just the stress of dentistry is a lot, so I don't like thinking about the future. So yeah, it's always been just like this blur to me. If you ask me, where do I see myself in 3 years? I don't want to think about it. I have no idea. Please don't ask me these kinds of questions. But yeah, biggest thing that happened to me, like the best thing rather, was my trip to Singapore. So I went there in December and I spent like 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks in Singapore with my sister. So the biggest takeaway I got from that is I really liked the life that my sister had, and I wanted to have that sort of life as well. So while I was there, I wasn't necessarily like a tourist. We didn't do any touristy things. We didn't go to Universal. We didn't go to Marina Bay Sands. We just, like, everything my sister did is what we did. Yeah, like there were days where we didn't even leave the house. We just stayed home and watched The Handmaid's Tale. And we still went out though. Like we went on hikes, but that's something that my sister really does anyway. But yeah, the point there was I was able to like look forward to something in the future. I was just like, hey, maybe this is something I can do. Maybe this is something I can plan for, you know? And it was such a refreshing moment when I realized that I wanted that, because I hadn't thought about my future like that in a really long time and felt really happy about it. So, yeah, that trip was the breath of fresh air that I needed. And when I got back to Manila, which was on the 1st of January, I was like, let's get it done. You know, let's get I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. Let's get crap done, okay? I'm gonna be super productive in school. I'm gonna travel a lot. I'm gonna get a lot done. So, yeah, but 2020 decided to do its thing and be, well, 2020. So I'm back to square one. Which is so sad. So, yeah, life in quarantine, pretty much was the same for everybody. Everybody baked. I baked a lot too. Everybody decluttered and like redid their space. You guys already know I made a video about it. Took everything down, repainted the walls, put up frames, which is now my backdrop. But then, after a while, my mental health just started to decline, and I don't really want to talk about that anymore. I actually posted a video about like my mental headspace. My headspace. My headspace in the quarantine. And it's basically just me being unhappy about where I am in life. And I'm gonna get back to that point later. But yeah, the thing that I did in this quarantine mostly is, number one, become really fragile. Like I remember posting this video. It was the cookie ASMR video. And I'm going to be honest, I'm going to come clean about that video. Those batch of cookies were a big failure. And that's because our beater is actually broken. So like when you set it to 1, it becomes like 4. It gets really fast. And when you overbeat your cookie batter, it becomes very hard when you bake it. So nobody wanted to eat my cookies. Nobody touched them because they were inedible. Okay, and I remember like lying down in bed with my bottle of soju, not even like the flavored soju, like the original soju. So you know it was bad. And I was just bawling my eyes out because can I not do anything right? I can't even make cookies for my little cousins. I'm a failure. And yeah, I'm in a much better place now, by the way. Just saying. Yeah, that happened. And it still makes me laugh to this day. Like I cried over a batch of cookies. Another thing I did again was gain weight. And I know that when people say this, it's like an over exaggeration, but I really, really did. I really let myself go. Because like my regular weight, like when I'm really fit, it's around 47 to 48 kilos. When I'm not super fit, I am like 51 max. I topped out at 56 kilos before I started working out. So yeah, 56 is pretty heavy for my height. It's not pretty heavy, it's very heavy for my height. And I really felt the difference because like I've always been a fit person. I've always had like very toned arms, that sort of thing, but the muscle was just gone. I had like this huge belly. But yeah, I started working out again. I've been working out religiously for the past 2 months, and yeah, exercising is good again, and I've shed off a lot of the weight that I gained, which is great. But yeah, going on to the whole the spiral that I went through in the quarantine, it really comes to show that when you focus too much on like work or school and you get caught up in that, we tend to lose ourselves, which kind of reminds me to when I started this vlog, because that's when I failed, and that was like my first spiral ever. But yeah, it comes to show that hobbies and like new skill sets are so important, because when this quarantine started out, I really wanted to be productive, and that's when I started learning Japanese. Like, I paid for these Japanese lessons, and I'm still doing them today. But the thing is, when we're trapped in that mindset, which I was, because I'm a delayed student, and like nobody wants to be delayed, and there's just so much baggage that comes with that. It messed with my head. I became so insecure, and I kind of limited myself to like, is this all I can amount to? Is this all I'm ever gonna be? Just like this failure, and like when I started learning Japanese and learning the piano, it's like my brain was reactivated, and I was able to like appreciate myself so much more, because I was just like, wow, I can still learn new things. I'm still capable of new things, and I can do them pretty well, because first off, Japanese is not an easy subject, okay? Just like learning the alphabet. If you've learned hiragana and katakana, you feel like you've learned Japanese. No, you are so wrong. There's kanji, okay? And just like everything to do with the language is complicated when you're so used to speaking English, or English is your first language. It's really hard, but it's such a rewarding process, because like whenever I learn something and I watch anime and I was able to pick up the new thing that I learned, I'd be just like, I know that. I understand that, yo. But yeah, and even learning the piano, I started around like 4 months ago, and I was able to learn the songs that I wanted to play. The first one was Reflection Algretto You from Liz to Ayoitori, which is an anime film. And the second one I learned was Grand Escape from Weathering with You. That's pretty much why I learned the piano, so I could play anime OSTs. What is classical music? Anime music is the way to go. But yeah, I was able to learn these two songs, and like when I did, I was just like, look at my hands, and I'd be like, not bad, Mick. Not bad. Because I've just been so caught up in being delayed in school and all of that I really limited myself to just that. Because sometimes that's what we do. We underestimate ourselves way too much, and we forget what we're actually capable of. So it's always important to learn new hobbies and learn new skill sets and all of that. I actually hit a wall a couple of days ago, and I was actually super productive for the past like 2 months. I was able to upload like 7 YouTube videos. I was able to do Japanese and piano like at least 2 hours a day, and then I hit a wall. Like, I was just like, this is the same thing every freaking day. Like, I'm getting so tired of it, and I just decided to take like 2 days off. I crashed. I went into like this little mini spiral, and I'm okay now, because sometimes it's important to be productive, but sometimes it's also important to learn when to take a break and get back on track. So yeah, now is really the end of my quarantine rant. I do hope that this quarantine ends really, really soon, so I can, go out safely without having to worry about anything. And I'm pretty sure that's the same case for everybody. I just want everybody to be safe again and have some sense of normalcy. So yeah, that is pretty much that for this podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Am I flushed? I feel a little flushed right now. But yeah, that's pretty much that. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Oh, that hit my tooth.